Hello, how are you? Chad McMillan here. A McMillan Strategies installment. The topic I'm going to chat about today: how to begin, how to start living the life you want, how to start pursuing the path that you feel is meant for you, that you see in your dreams, and that you want to have in your life. This comes up a lot. I work with a lot of startup people. I work with a lot of people that have big ideas, have big dreams, are very creative, but they're in something else. They feel stuck in something. They're not interested in what they're doing. They're drained by it. It's irritating. It's frustrating. It brings up anger and stress and all these things. And their vision for their life is this. And so they come to me because they've seen the path that I've been on and that I am on, which is a function of moving through those things that I do not resonate with and I do not accept or do not want or like in my life, into the flow of what I do want in my life and the way I do want to live it, and what I'm fully capable of and believe I can achieve and realize. So how do we do that? Now, the biggest misnomer for people is that everything needs to be perfect before you start. The biggest thing, the most important thing, is to just begin. Why you're here, how you found this video on some level, and found my materials on some level, is because you want to start and you don't know how. The big thing to start is to just start. Define what it is you want to achieve. Define what it is that is missing from your current state of experience, and define what it is that it looks like, the state you want to be in. So if you're living in a basement suite without a window in a suburban dwelling somewhere, working at Starbucks, that's one thing. And if you're happy doing that, fantastic, and good for you, and congratulations. The reality is that lifestyle may not be for everyone. And if it isn't for you, you may have dreams or ambitions of living on or near the beach, surfing every morning, doing yoga, in the morning or in the evening, in or near the sand, let's say, swimming in the ocean, palm trees, coconuts. I use a lot of ocean and beach analogies because those, resonate with me well. I love the beach and I love the heat and I love the water and those types of environments. But however you define that is up to you, and it's yours to define. And so long as it doesn't hurt other people, whatever your dream is, then I support you in that endeavor. My work is to help you make that happen, and it's a heck of a lot easier than you think, and as you may feel. Many of us are brought into the world with a certain prescription on how the world works, and we're fed that. We're truly spoon-fed that since a very early age about this whole rhythmic, structural system and pattern on how this is supposed to be. And, get up, go to work your full day, punch out, go home, live in your cubicle, and so on and so forth. And just quite frankly, I'm not going to live that way, and I refuse to live that way, and I'm going to do whatever is required to not have to live that type of a lifestyle. Why? Because the world is magic. The world is so dynamic and beautiful and diverse and broad and eye-opening and compelling and inspiring and mesmerizing and mysterious and loving and full of color and sound and rhythm and energy and vibration and possibility and opportunity. Why, in my right mind, would I really honestly want to just sit and live in a cubicle punching in and out 9 to 5 every day? Bless, right? Without judgment to those who choose that. for themselves, or who are very comfortable and happy in that lifestyle. Congratulations again, and I'm infinitely happy for you if you're happy. But I know many who are not happy living their lives that way, and for my part, I am not. Now, rooted in the fear of living, of life, is because this pattern is so deeply prescribed and inscribed in our journey, just as we move through this system of how that works, and this turning wheel, that there's a tremendous amount of fear for people to shift. There's a generally huge energetic wall of the leap that's required to move past and through ourselves, yourself for you and myself for me, into what is possible. And it is through fear that we realize our freedom, that we are liberated from this prescribed cage that isn't a they. It isn't an us and them. There is no us and them. We accept that everything is a reflection of ourselves, and the fact that we are living in that circumstance in this way, right, with a lifestyle that we don't accept or we don't enjoy, is our own responsibility to take. My own for me and your own for you. And so we begin the work. We begin the commitment to ourselves that says, I will not settle for living a life of misery. I will not settle for living a life that I don't want. I deserve to live the best life I possibly can. I deserve to experience the magic and wonder of the world and the universe as deep as it welcomes me, which is as deep as I choose to go. And I commit that I will not allow anything to hold me back or stand in my way of realizing and experiencing the multitude of sensations that come from that feeling of joy, knowing I am living the life I choose and want to live. And that magic is the magic that we own. That is the magic that us as individuals need and want to release. And so we release it. So how do we start? First is with ourselves. First is with that commitment to say, I'm good with this. Enough is enough here. I am now going to begin to do the work, to shift, to change what I don't like. And it could be as much as, you're committed to a basketball team and you'd like to play baseball for the summer. I mean, this does not have to be like, echoing and bellowing from the tops of the mountains, I will change my world, It doesn't have to be this sort of grandiose, epic scale. As you get to know me, that tends to be the level that I like to shift and move through shifts at and with. I've had a number of, epic experiences on that level because it's challenging, it's interesting, it's phenomenal for me to reach that deep into myself and my experience in this world and this universe to achieve those things, those milestones and those breakthroughs, and to really, grow into what's truly possible as my highest potential self in any given moment. And, of course, that highest potentiality growing with every moment we take a step along this path. So first is the commitment to say, okay, I want to change. Now, I work with people who refuse to change, or have at least. This is the thing. people will come and they'll say, okay, I want to change, or I want to evolve. We'll say maybe a better word to use, right? And I want to open, and I want to shift. I need to recalibrate. I want this to feel different. I want my experience to be different with my life. And you say, okay. So as soon as we get started on that journey, it's up to you. It's up to that person to take the steps. I guide, I mentor, I assist along your path, along your journey, but I can't walk those steps for you. I walk my own steps. We all walk our own steps. I'm here as a mirror, as a grounding center of support energy to encourage and assist and steer in some way you towards, I'd suggest, your own tools to be able to take the wheel, so to speak, the figurative wheel of your own life, and find your way to guide yourself through these hoops and ups and downs and what have you, that you manifest for yourself, right? To then trigger you towards your greatest good and your highest potential self. It gets deep, right? But you have to want to do it, and you have to want to do it for yourself. And so as we start the process, and as you start the process, it's every day, one step at a time, committing to what's possible, right? And your greatest good. So step two, first, well, we've said step one is outlining. We've said this. Step one is outlining, or step one is committing. Step two, we'll say, is outlining what it is you want. Step three is outlining what it is you feel is impeding you from what you want, right? So this is the world I want. I want a tiki hut on an island in the tropics, so on and so forth. And right now I have a 9-to-5 job at Starbucks, and those two things don't match. Well, maybe there's a Starbucks on an island where the tiki hut is, and maybe one of your fellow employees at Starbucks actually owns the tiki hut. Not unrealistic, is it? It's not totally outside of the realm of possibility. Have you ever looked to see how many Starbucks there are on tropical islands? Have you ever looked to see who else is out there that works at Starbucks, living on tropical islands, that rents homes on the beach, for example? Is there a Starbucks community program where everybody's connected as employees? I mean, I've never worked for Starbucks, and I just am pulling them up as an example here, but the reality is that's the possibility. And so it's how we think about discovering the solution to the puzzle ourselves, to be able to figure these elements out, both cerebrally, mentally, to work through some of these puzzles as an epiphany and go, well, I should look up if there's Starbucks on an island, versus the feeling, which is the trigger, which is the, living in this basement suite and working at Starbucks in this whatever place I'm working in. It's just not inspiring me anymore. I'm just not feeling lifted. I'm feeling drained and saturated and just tired of the experience. So how do I shift, right? So what are the things in step three? What are the things that you feel are holding you back from that? Step four, of those things you feel are holding you back, right? Which of them can you adjust, and how? What needs to be adjusted? Now, the biggest thing for people, they always say, is money. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough. I don't have enough of this. I can't do that. I feel people coming up for and with excuses all day long for reasons they can't do things. Money is taught in a way I would suggest is counter to how it actually operates. Money is energy. We receive money for what we give, right? And what do we give? And is that giving of value? If I'm sitting here sharing with you insights that assist you in breaking through yourself, your own resistance to live your dream, right? What is that worth to you? To transform your life, to set that first wheel in motion. I hear from people all the time that say, wow, like, I'm inspired by what you're doing. I'm inspired by your projects. I'm inspired by the way you live your life. It's so unique. You have no qualms about who you are. You just hold your space. You live freely compared to many, of course, but not as free as all, possibly. Time will tell. But freedom, of course, being defined within me and how I seek to describe it. So I get those things. And so it follows with the question of the how, right? So there's lots of different ways. I mean, you can work online providing your services. You can work at a place, just at the place you want to be, like I've described with the Starbucks relocation. You can work in types of environments that move, right? So you can work in some form of travel. You can work, for airlines and travel. You can work with cruise ships and travel. You can work with, train companies and travel, bus, car, whatever, right? There's so many different ways. Adventure companies, resorts. There's just to keep on this theme, and I'll keep on this theme because both, one, it resonates with me, and two, it is a dream of so many people, so it probably resonates with most people that are watching this video as well. There's so many ways. But then what have you done to explore them? When you start putting that vibration out there, when you say to people, you know what, I would love to work for a Starbucks on an island in the tropics, right? And you start sharing that, right? You're starting to manifest the energy coming back to you to help you create it. They say that the universe opens for a person who knows where they're going, right? What does that mean? That means when I say this is what I want, the universe conspires to assist you in achieving it. But you have to be clear. Many, many people I know, they just kind of stew in it. And they stew in it because it's the state. They complain about the state. They just kind of make it work, getting by. There's always an excuse or a reason something's not working that is outside of them. It's not themselves that's creating it to live the life they want to do what they want to do. And it is this kind of like constant status. So when I ever connect with people like that, I say, are you interested in making the shift? Are you interested in moving past or through this? And they tend to say, yes, I am, but then they'll do nothing about it. And I watch for this because for me, that's black hole, that's vortex, right? If I'm working with someone who's like that but refuses to do the work for themselves, then I get pulled in myself, and I can get pulled into this trap of working with someone who will not break through. And eventually you're enabling or assisting and impeding them from breaking through on their own journey, then helping them along it, right? And it's a breaking point on my kind of service and assistance, working with people, because you need to coax them out to some degree. You need to encourage them to take their own initiative, and if they're not ready or not willing to, at least the seeds are there, and when they are ready, they can reach back out again. But for me, I'm going. I've made these decisions. I've made these choices. I'm going, and I'm seeding all kinds of different, components and pieces of magic, and those are uncompromising for me. This is the world and lifestyle I seek. This is the magic I own and have within me that I am ready and going and willing to share. So we're starting that journey, are we not? So I don't need anyone to encourage me to do that. I'm doing it. But for you, you have to start. What is it you want? What is it that's impeding you from what you want? How do you remove the impediments to what you want? And how do you move towards, step 5, how do you move towards those things you want? So if it's from living in the city to living on an island, what island? Where would you like to go? What would you like to live in when you get there? uh, what would you like to do, right, to contribute to the community? Because everywhere we are, we're a community, right? And collectively, we're one big community. So the big question is, how are we, in our own unique, secret sense of magic, sharing or contributing something unique and special and valuable to the community that betters and improves the lives of everyone around us? This is the choice. And this is light work. This is the choice. You could contribute in a way that's destructive, right? But you will be isolated, and you will be, essentially quarantined from the community if all you're doing is hurting everybody. You're going to feel outcast. You're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel lonely because people don't want to be around people that do that. I want to be around people that make me feel good. You want to be around me if I make you feel good, right? I want to be around you if you make me feel good. I find good feelings within myself, right? But we share in those good feelings if we are committed to honoring positive feelings in ourselves and our life experience. So, it's your call. It's up to you. But this is the path. This is the work. What is your contribution to the community, wherever that community may be, right? In whatever format or lifestyle you would like, that makes you happy in doing the work and allows you to live the way you seek to live, no matter who you are and what you're doing and where you want to go or who you want to be. Each individual has special gifts and talents and magic. This came up recently. It's a great thing to share. You are who you are, and who you are is enough, and who you are is special, and who you are is full of all the magic you require to contribute. That is the truth, just simply. And it's not to sound campy. It's not to sound a little bit prescribed, right? It's truly the case. I have a certain skill set that includes these things, right? The combination of those things are what? They're like this, right? And then this I offer to the world and the community. Or this, we'll put it this way, right? I'll offer to the world and the community. What do you offer to me? Or what do you offer to the world and the community? Look at a guy like Elon Musk, right? Everybody loves Elon Musk. And, kudos. I have so much time for this guy. He's visionary, there's no question. He's exceptional in his abilities to move through resistance. At every step of Elon's journey, there's someone saying, well, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's not done. This is the way it works. You can't do that. And this guy just sits there and says, watch me. And he does it over and over and over again and truly enjoys that. There's an aspect of himself that there's a great feeling in him of someone saying no and him saying, well, watch this. And I relate to that. I've met many people in my journey say, you can't, you never will, this will never happen, you're not good enough, what have you. And I've said, yeah, watch this. And I'm sure for someone like Elon, without knowing his full story when he was young, on some level, someone challenged him somewhere at some point and said, you can't do that. While someone else was saying, this is what's possible. And his mind just went, right? And his whole experience just went, and he says, I'm on, like, let's go. Let's weave magic. And that's what he does. And people love, what he's doing. He's criticized, nearly daily at the same time. So it's a love-hate, but who actually prescribes to some degree of, betterment or growth or human achievement, and living to our highest potential. Anyone who prescribes to these philosophies, how can you not recognize and honor the impact that a guy like Elon Musk has? And, kudos, but he's done his work. He says, I am going to impact the world. I'm going to change the world. And one of his greatest lines is, you will be paid in proportion to the complexity or the impact So maybe not a direct quote, but a complexity or the impact of the problems you solve, right? So the problems he solves, I mean, he's working on, electric cars, obviously, we all know. He's working on solar-powered homes. He's working on, the Hyperloop, which is, fast and safe transportation alternative. He's working on worldwide global wireless internet, among what else? He's dabbling in AI, which he's also agreed is a bit of a slippery slope, and I tend to agree with him. But first point, what else is he working on? He's working on private, private space exploration and rockets and reusable rockets and all kinds of stuff. But it's because he has the confidence to say, I'm going to go try and tackle that problem because I can, and he enjoys it. And I'm sure there's days he's exhausted from the challenge. But respect, right? If Elon ever watches my videos, respect, man. Huge support. And I'm sure many of you who watch these would resonate with that as well. That we appreciate the work of people who do things like that, and in kind, the achievement of those breakthroughs. What are those worth, right? So there's the worth as far as money that is going to fulfill your need, your pocket, your food, what have you. So there's an earning worth, but then there's a legacy worth. And when you deal with some of these great visionaries like this that have made monumental positive impacts in the world, it's a legacy worth. It's what is the thing that will carry, that will still exist when I'm gone, that will say, wow, Elon Musk was here, Chad McMillan was here, Joe Smith was here, Julie Smith was here, And when you get deep into these questions, that's the question we ask ourselves. And, it's living a life of purpose. And so for my part, right, these visions and all these elements are present and seated in my experience, and my deepest contributions are yet coming. But there have been a number to date of experiences I've had and contributions I've made in varying degrees, and there's a ton to come. So you're welcome to join me on my journey as I do that, while at the same time as my giving back, as my making myself available to others who are seeking to come into this journey and release themselves from their experience that they're unhappy with and move into an experience of love and joy and happiness and fulfillment and purpose that they seek in enjoying every minute of life that we have and we're gifted with. Then, like I've said, I'm available to you as well to take these first steps, to get started on this work of identifying what it is that you want, what it is that's holding you back, what you're going to do about it, and then starting to do something about it. And I'm here to help show you what the tools are, what the methods are, what the techniques are to help navigate that, process and that path to move yourself from that state, which is generally considered a lower vibrating state of, pain or unhappiness or stress or fatigue, into a high vibrating state of magic and wonder and joy and enthusiasm and fun and laughter and all those good things.